The next thing that I'm going to show is how to handle a page loading error. Because we are working with the Internet Explorer.application object, there will be times where some kind of API error is going to occur. You're going to lose control of the Internet Explorer window and you won't be able to gain control of it. And I'm going to explain how we can rectify that, correct it, that way your program does not stall or mess up, and instead it will just pick up from where it left off. So let me go on and show you how to get started on that. Before the code begins, you want to create a label. In this case, I'm just going to call it the start, and just put a colon at the end. And what you want to do on your page, leave this code here, but where it says object.ie.navigate, you want to put on error resume next, because this is where the error can occur. And what I'm going to do deliberately is cause my program to error, and the way I'm going to cause that to error is I'm going to call the object Internet Explorer.document.body.innerHTML property. I know that's quite a lot, but this is only a valid property after a web page loads. So by me doing this, it's going to give me an error because we don't have the page loaded. On purpose, I'm going to take off the on error resume next and just hit F5 and show you what I mean. If I click open page, I'm immediately getting an error that says method document of object I web browser 2 failed. So I'm going to hit end. So we already know that it is causing an error. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to put on error resume next, and all this means that it's going to go to the next line. But what we're going to do is put if err.number is greater than 0, then, and then we're going to put an end if. So what we're going to do is close out the internet window. We're going to do object IE dot quit, and we're going to do set object IE to equals nothing, and then go to the start. All this is going to do is going to close out the internet window. It's going to set the object to nothing, and then it's going to restart all the code again. Now this is going to cause an infinite loop on our part because we already know over and over and over this is going to get an error, but we will place this into a place where it will be appropriate. That way, if there is an error when your VBA application is looping, we'll make sure that we're able to recover from the error. But let's go on and see if this works. Let's try this out. I'm going to put a little notification on here. That's going to say message box, we got an error. So we are going to try again. So let's try and hit F5 and see if this works. And I actually did not get an error, so let me go on and see what my code is doing right now. For some reason, the err.number is not triggering anything, so I'm going to do, let me get the error number. The reason why it wasn't calling the error, or it's not catching it, is because it's a negative value. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to close this out. And this is just a mistake. This does happen. We'll just put if err.number is not 0, then that's when we'll restart the application. So let me try F5 again. We'll do this again. I'm going to hit open page. And there it says we got an error, so we're going to try again. And I'll hit OK. And it's going to try again. And it's just going to try over and over and over. But in this case, we know it's not going to work because we're deliberately causing the error. But again, this is going to be very useful for when we are creating the VBA application. That way, if our program does experience an error, it'll be able to recover. And just to give you a real quick example on where it's going to be appropriate, let me just close out this program real quick. I'm going to hit Control Break. My apologies for that little mishap. I needed to restart my VBA application, and that happens. That's why you really want to try to avoid an infinite loop. But to give you that demonstration that I'm talking about, where it will be appropriate, what you're going to want to do is put the on error resume next before the navigation. I'm going to take off this message box. We don't need that. and you're going to want to place it in your do loop. It's probably going to be the best place to put it. And we'll just put, if the error number is not equal to 0, then we're just going to close it out, set the object to being nothing, and then we're not going to put a message box to the user. We're just going to say go to the start. By you doing this, you're really not going to see it do anything for right now. This is only going to trigger when when an error occurs, and it's very hard for you to actually see it happen, but from experience working with VBA for a very long time, especially the web browser and Internet Explorer application control, I can tell you it does happen after some time, especially when you have an application that's been running for several hours. So again, just keep this code here. It's very important.